Hi, this is Bonnie from Lavinia World, and I am going to be making a card today that I started using the Snowman from the video from about 2 weeks ago. I will have the link below so you can see how I made this snowman. And what I decided to do is turn this into a card, and I have inked up this design in the background. If you want to know how I do my inking, I have several videos in the Lavinia World showing how I do inking, and again I'll have a link down below so you can refer back to that. Meanwhile, I'm not doing the inking today. I'm just going to be doing stamping for the snowman, and I am going to be using this stamp from Lavinia Stamps, and it is called Forest Temple, and it's LAV611. And this is going to be pretty simple in doing this. I've already set up my stamp on the platform, and all I need to do is get that inked up. Now hopefully my inking is going to be doing pretty good, because I re-inked my VersaFine Clair ink. It was getting a little bit dry from doing all my stamping. So I've already got this set up, and we're going to go ahead and get that stamped. Recently I purchased this Hero Arts pad underneath, and I got that at Lavinia World also, because after a while the paper pad that's underneath, well, you take the sheets away and then it gets thinner, and you need that height. My height is a little bit higher, but I think this will still work really well. And what's nice about this pad is that you can wipe things off, and so that works really well. So how I have mine set up is I have the foam, I'll show you in a minute. I have the black foam underneath, and then I put this pad that you can get. Like I said, it's from Hero Arts, made for the Misti. Alright, let's see if I might have to stamp that again, but let's just see. I'm going to make sure this doesn't move, because this stamp has had a tendency to move on me. Let's see here. Yep, I'm going to have to stamp it again. I'm going to put a little bit more, let's set my tape down there and give this a little bit more inking. I find that the larger stamps do need to be, for me, need to be stamped more than once with ink. And I'm sure it has something to do with an ink pad or whatever. So it did not move. And I am stamping, this is like inked with Distress Oxide ink. The blending is what I did. I used Distress Oxide ink, and so I'm stamping on top of that. Okay. It looks pretty good. I have one little spot here I really want to get better. I'm going to go ahead and put more ink on it. This is such a gorgeous stamp, the details in it, and as you can see, for the most part, there's not a whole lot you have to do to this stamp, especially when you have the inking in the background. But I think what I'm going to do is I am going to take advantage of the open white spaces and add some shading to it using my pencils. Okay, that filled it in. It is, like I said, oh, I can see one little spot. Let's see if we got that. Yep. Okay, So I just want you to see how gorgeous of a stamp that is and how pretty it looks on top of the ink blending. So that's going to be our basic card base, and then my little snowman is going to be going on there also. Okay, so I'm going to get some color on this, and I'll tell you what I'm going to do in just a minute. Okay, so I did want to show you when I was talking about this pad that goes underneath. And this is the pad. It's, I guess not that thick, but it is foam. And then there's also this foam that comes with the Misti. That's how I did it. It makes it, I don't know if that's exactly what their intention was, but it's flush now with the top, and that's what I use. And plus, like I said, this is basically washable, and I just haven't washed this a little bit off down here, but it is washable, so it's kind of nice to use that. And then I have my magnet. So I just wanted to let you know about that product, and I know that, like I said, Lavinia World had it in their store. Okay, so I'm going to start coloring with Prismacolor Pencils, and I already started a little bit, you can see on here, and I'm going to tell you some of the colors that I am using. This is Dark Umber, and it's 947, and this is going to be my darkest color, and I did heat emboss this with clear embossing powder, so it's not going to go as deep into some of these places unless you have a fairly sharp pencil point. That makes a difference. It makes a difference when you color with the colored pencils anyway. So right now what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to find some of the places that I think are more recessed and more deep to give me a little bit more dimension. Although the way this is drawn, you don't need to do a lot of that because it's already there. So I'm just trying to add a little bit of color to the areas, just to give it a little bit more dimension. This right here is not part of the tree. That's just some of the dots, the tree roots. So it's not a real detailed coloring because a lot of the design is already here. But it does, the stamp does allow you to do some coloring. And I'm having a little bit of problem with the light because it's raining today, and so I'm not getting the exact light the way I'd like to have it. Make sure you can see that. And also because I did emboss it, it is having a little bit of a glare. But just look at the design and say, okay, what part of it is being shaded, and usually the part that is furthest away from the light. And in this case, the moon is right there, but consider that also where the moon would be shining, which is behind. And like I said, it's just a little bit of color. It's not a lot. And you could probably not even bother, if you have an ink background like this, you don't even really have to do much of any coloring. It's just up to you if you like to do that. So that's the darkest, and there's not a lot that's showing to that. The next one that I used is Burnt Ochre, and it's 943. And that's where you can see this a little bit more of a highlight color coming in. So that's what I'm going to do, is I'm looking at the parts that would be a little bit more highlighted and lighter. And like I said, it's really not a detailed coloring. It's just to add color. Because I really do like the inked background coming through some of the spots. Makes it kind of fun. And because it's also a graduated color, it's darker on the bottom and then it gets lighter as it goes up by the moon. So it makes it kind of fun. I just think this top part really needed some color. And you can get more detailed if you want to. Okay, so then the other one part that I wanted to color is this part right here. And at first when I saw it, I thought it looked more like bricks or stones, but I'm just going to give it a little bit of a darker with a cast of, this is dark umber. Let's see, is that the right? Oh, that's not the right one. I want to use black cherry, and it's 1078, very similar to the other color. And I am just going to color this part in. It's my darkest color. Where all those lines are, I'm going to give it a little bit of a red brick cast. Not really sure if this was supposed to be red or a brick type stone, or if it was actually woven, just woven, I want to say reeds, but it's not really reeds, but I didn't know if it was something woven. Kind of like when you would see a thatch roofed house. Didn't know if it was like what would be at the top of that. So there's not much color there either. Then the other color I decided to pull out was this Mahogany Red. It's 1029. Oh, I'm sorry. I need to come down here a little bit. 1029. And that's going to give us a little bit more color. And I always leave just a little bit of white for my lightest color I'm going to add. But that gives us a little bit of color to this. You can see that. All right, then the next color I picked up, and it's pretty much sharpened off, but I think this was Putty Beige, but at any rate, the number is 1083. And that's just going to go to the top of that brick and kind of blend it in. Actually, I like this color really well. It's a really good blending pencil for blending in your colors when you're using your pencils. It works well with even the wood part that I did. Like if I want to go back in here and just go over that with it, it's just a really good blending pencil. I think you can see how that works pretty well, blending that in. The other thing I think I'm going to do is this part that's around the outside of the door, I'm also going to use it for that. Now if you wanted it to be more of a fancy looking door, you could probably add a little bit of gold, but I think because it's going to be more of a fairy-ish type door, I'm going to make it more standard like that. It's not really, like I said, it's just a little bit, it's just subtle. So the one color I didn't pull out is I want a gray for these steps. And I think what I'm going to use, because I need two colors, the top part is going to be lighter, the bottom part darker. So I am going to go ahead and use the 50% warm gray, and that's 1054. And this is going to be the darker color, and so that's going to be going underneath. And again, it's just really lightly. I might even not even color the top part of it because I think that the light blue kind of like looks really nice. That's actually in the inking behind. I I've been debating whether or not to do anything with that door because I really like the fact that I can see the inking and how it's light blue and it gets lighter. But then I also wonder if it looks like it's showing through, like there's nothing behind it. But I don't know, I just think I kind of like it the way it is. So that's all we're going to do for the coloring, I think. You can think of how you would change yours out if you want to. But I think that's all I'm going to do for right now. I'm going to put the snowman with it and make a little card. Okay, so I have that all colored and I have it on my card base. And I put some foam tape on the back of our snowman. And the snowman is just going to go right there. It's kind of like happy. Okay, then the next thing I thought that I wanted to put something on the door. And so I pulled out this stamp. And that stamp is called Ocean Flowers, and it's LAV611. I wanted a wreath of some sort on there. So I stamped just the top of it, and in green I used VersaFine Clair Shady Lane. And I'm just going to use this part as kind of like a wreath. In order to do that, I wanted to punch, I was just going to hole punch the center out, but the hole punch I have is a little bit too big. It would have worked, but I really kind of wanted that inside part. So what I've decided to do instead is I am going to hole punch the inside of it, but I'm going to come back in and fussy cut it. Just because I really, really wanted that little line on the inside. I was trying to find something that I thought would work well to make a little wreath on the door. And I thought maybe I'd be able to use some, you could probably use some leaves and just make your own little wreath. But I wanted something rather quick. And I thought this would work. Just a matter of fussy cutting that little bit on the inside out. I think that works. Okay, then I need to also do the outside. And I like that it has a little bit of a ruffle and it's not a perfect circle. I did stamp this on watercolor, the lightweight watercolor paper, just like I did the snowman when I made the snowman. So it's just a simple way to add, I guess, a wreath. I also wanted to put the word home, but I do not have the home stamp. There's a stamp that says home on it in Lavinia World that I need to get. So I do not have it. So that's what I decided I'm going to do, is I'm going to pop that up on that door to give it a little bit more festive look. I'm going to use my foam tape. I'm sure you can think of some more things you can do if you wanted to do that, but I thought the home word would have been cute too. I know it's kind of two different styles. This is a little bit more fantasy looking and this is a little bit more cute, but I thought with the two different, I thought we could make it work by adding the wreath, giving it a little bit more fun. Not just fantasy. Okay. And our little door has a wreath. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed that. And like I said, if you want to see how to do the snowman, I have another video. And I'll have all the links down below. So I hope you enjoyed that. Please share and subscribe. And come back every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday because we have great tutorials for you. Thanks for stopping by.